Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and today we're going to be talking about a way that you can spend more time with your loved one and potentially even make more money while doing it. It's called driving a truck with your spouse. So if you're married, or maybe you're about to get married, or maybe you're not into the whole marriage thing and you just love this individual and you want to spend more time with your spouse, maybe the best thing that you can actually do is become a truck driver together. There's something in the trucking world called team driving. And pretty much what that means is it's going to be a team of 2 people inside of the truck, which means the truck gets to pretty much run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the actual people driving the truck can interchange. Now, you're not going to be 7 days a week because they are going to have to take breaks according to the laws, right? But this gives the actual truck a much better opportunity to travel across a lot more area so they can actually earn a lot more money. So one of the first things we're going to be talking about when it comes to team driving, especially when it comes to your spouse itself, is going to be how much money can you guys actually make. So the cool thing is when you actually are driving a truck, most of the time you get paid by the mile. And if you're going to be doing team driving, that most of the time means that you're going to be doing over-the-road work, which means you're going to be traveling all around the country. Now, because the truck gets to drive a lot more, because both people are actually able to drive the truck, that means that the truck's going to produce a lot more income for the company, which means that the company now gets to pay those drivers a lot more money. Just to give you a simple example, there's companies that we know like Werner that pay the truck about $150,000 a year, which means it's a 75-75 split. Now, if you are with a random individual, you're only going to get $75,000 worth of that money because that's half of it, right? But if you're with somebody that you live with or somebody that you love or your spouse, in that case, now you're going to get the full $150K together because that's all going into one household. Now, if you guys are team driving, you're actually going to be saving a lot of money because you probably don't need a big place to rent or anything like that. You get to cut a lot of expenses on just your overall living costs, and you get to earn a lot more and save a lot more all at the same time. So if you guys are somebody who's maybe want to spend time together and want to find a way to cut down your expenses and increase your income as much as possible, becoming a team driver together is an amazing thing to do as a couple. Here at Driving Academy, we have many different stories of individuals, husband and wives, who come on in and actually want to get their CDL license together. And the cool thing is, when it comes to it, the wife actually does a lot better job than a husband most of the time. And simply said, that's because women actually make better students than men. Men, we all have to deal with the ego type of situation. So we're always kind of trying to puff out our chest and make things better than what they are. Women, they're actually able to just take the information that we give them and they're able to implement them a lot faster. So if you are looking to get an actual CDL license and you and your husband or you and your wife is looking to actually do this thing together, come to Driving Academy. We've helped out so many couples in the past, and we could definitely help you guys out too. Another benefit is the time that you spend together. So maybe you just love your spouse so much and you want to kind of live in their skin. And I know for some people that's a phase, for some people that's the whole relationship itself. So one of the benefits of actually becoming a team driver with your spouse is actually being in the same truck 24 hours a day with that individual. Now, a truck is going to be about 8 foot wide, so you're going to be in about an 8-foot box with this other individual, and you're going to be able to spend so much time. It's kind of like me and my fiance. Anytime we're together, she always loves kind of spending quality time together. And sometimes when she sleeps over or something like that, then it's like, hey, we just spent all the day sleeping. And she's like, that's not, you were asleep, that doesn't count. That same type of thing can happen here. When you're sleeping, it doesn't count, but now when you're awake, you guys can both be inside the truck and actually moving things together and experiencing life together. And the cool thing is, you always have something to talk about, because you can always listen to the radio, listen to a podcast or a book of something while you're driving. The scenery is always going to be changing as well. Simply because you're a team driver, you're going to be traveling all over the country, getting to experience all that this country has to offer, and it's going to be an amazing thing to do. So in order to actually become an effective team driver, whether you're a spouse or not, here's going to be a few tips that you have to focus on. One is going to be communication. Be super clear on what your outcome is and make sure that you're communicating to each other, and try to keep things as less personal as possible. So for instance, if you find somebody that is actually more messy than you are, in that case, hey, communicate that. Yeah, it's very good to communicate boundaries. The other thing that you have to understand is we're all human. So we're looking to communicate with one another, but sometimes people have different forms of communication. Some people handle communication completely differently. So really understand your partner. And if it is your spouse, you probably understand them very, very well. So making sure that communication does not die, and don't let the unsaid be unsaid. Of course, treat it with respect, make sure you have the proper intentions behind your communication. And if it is your spouse, the intention should be something like, hey, I'm looking to continue to grow this relationship with you and fall deeper and deeper in love. Now, another tip to actually make sure that this is working properly for you is going to be, make sure you're establishing a routine. So there's going to be certain times where you're going to drive, certain times where your spouse is going to drive. There's going to be times where one individual is going to be sleeping, one individual is going to be driving, and what time you guys are going to be eating. All this stuff should be a common routine, especially with team drivers, because if you have a routine, it's going to make your body a lot easier when it comes to driving overnight or driving during the day, and making sure that you guys have your communication. If you do have a routine to go through in your day, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier, and now everyone pretty much understands their role. Now, every now and again, you can kind of spice things up a little bit, change things up. There's nothing wrong with that. But for the most part, the routine is definitely going to save a lot of the discussions, a lot of the arguments, because now you don't have to, oh, you were going to do this. No, you were going to do that. Hey, we have an established routine. This is what we're agreeing to. This is what we got to do. The next thing to actually help you out to become the best team drivers and spouse drivers is going to be making sure that you're respecting each other's space. So understand that you are going to be spending a whole lot of time together, and sometimes people just want alone time, which means they need a time in their own head to think about certain thoughts or to daydream. So that means when you're in the truck, there's a few different places you can do it. You can actually do it in the passenger seat. Maybe if you're not driving, you can just go in the passenger seat, or you can go in the back in the bed. You probably have bunks itself if you're team driving or driving with your spouse, and you can kind of close that off and kind of just focus on you and have your alone time, whether it's journaling or daydreaming or just watching something on your phone. If you're the driver and you want your alone time, a lot of drivers do like that, to kind of just think in their own thoughts. Make sure you communicate that regularly. Be like, hey babe, I really just want some alone time right now. If I can just kind of focus on my own thoughts. It has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with me. And most of the time, your spouse is going to make sure that they respect that, because they love you at the end of the day, and they know that you guys all have the same goal. And last tip when it comes to actually making sure that this is a fun experience for you and for your spouse is plan routes together, right? So the cool thing about being a truck driver is that you get to decide how you want to get from point A to point B. And if there's some stops along the way that you want to do, maybe you want to stop in Las Vegas, maybe you want to go check out a nice little site at Yosemite Park, or maybe you're down in Florida and you want to just pull over to the side and go to the beach. Have that all planned out a few days in advance, a week in advance, because now you guys have something that you can be working towards, right? But one of the downsides of actually being together all the time is kind of you might lose a spice to the relationship. The whole dating phase might die off. So being able to kind of plan these things together and plan these routes, plan the actual stops, can make sure that your relationship stays in high passion mode, and you're able to kind of keep this dating phase alive, because at the end of the day, you're not just here for a roommate, you're here for a lifelong partner. And that's what a good spouse should be. So that being said, these were some of the tips and tricks on how to make sure that you are a successful team driver with your spouse itself. And if you want to get your CDL license, and if this sounds like it's a great option for you, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Again, cdldrivingacademy.com. We're here to help 1 million people get on the road to freedom. And if we just help spouses, that means we really only have to help 500,000 people, because you guys are a group of 2. So help our dreams get a lot faster by us helping your dreams get closer and closer together. Our mission, like I said, 1 million people on the road to freedom. We have many different options available when it comes to courses, and it does not matter where you live in the country, we can actually help you out at our Linden training facility. So to find out more, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Again, cdldrivingacademy.com. Thanks. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.